All right. So hi, everyone, and welcome to Closing the Gaps in Oracle Web ADI for GL Journals. I am Stephanie, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Since this is a quick fire session, I just want to go over a few things as fast as possible before handing it over to our host, Lily. So everyone will receive today's recording by the end of the week. After Lily presents, we will begin our Q&A portion. During the session, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box down below or in the chat. We will only answer them during the Q&A portion just to allow everyone to hear the entirety of the presentation and to hop off at the end if needed. So this is actually our first session of the day with Lily kickstarting it for our End User Education Day. So we will have two more sessions after this, one with Slash BI and another one with Mr. Excel himself. So we hope we can see you there. But let's get started and let's get to what we're really here for. So Lily, would you like to take it away?
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. So hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. So as you can see from the screen, today we are tackling a business critical challenge, boosting financial productivity by finally closing the gaps in Oracle Web ADI for GL journals. So for those who don't know me yet, I'm Lily Mazieres. I'm one of the senior product specialists here at More4apps. So I've been with More4apps for almost 7 years now. And during that time, I've spoken to countless organizations about their pain points with Oracle and also the pain points and limitations that they face with Web ADI. So my job in a nutshell is to see if More4apps can solve those pain points with data entry. And before that, I've been working as an Oracle consultant for almost 10 years, implementing and supporting Oracle applications. So that included also spending a lot of time helping users navigate their difficulties with Oracle and also with Web ADI. So that's about me. Let's talk about the agenda for today. Here is a quick look at what we will be covering today. So to start, we want to hear from you. So we will take a quick poll to see which Web ADI issue is currently costing your teams the most time. Next, we're going to dive into the pain points. That means dissecting the most common Web ADI compatibility issues and limitations. Then we will move from the problem to the solution and show how the More4apps approach restores your team's productivity. I'll walk you through a live demo of GL Wizard. This is the tool that thousands of users rely on as a direct, reliable replacement for Web ADI for their GL journals. And we will finish with a Q&A. All right. So before we dive into the details, we anticipate many of you are attending this session today because Web ADI is currently causing friction or pain points for your teams. So we would like to quickly validate the specific issues that are the biggest time sinks for your team.
Okay, I'm gonna launch it. There you go.
All right, and feel free to pick a few if you have a few pain points with Web ADI. Typically, people have a few pain points.
It's a bit to read through. Yeah. I'll give everybody like another 20-ish seconds. There's a lot to read through, so I get it. Yeah, and it's multiple choice as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna end it. Okay, let's share the results. All right, there you go, Lily.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Thanks a lot for answering these quick questions. Okay, mostly, yeah, Windows or Microsoft upgrade that are breaking Web ADI and also the usability that is difficult. And then some missing functionalities compared to Web ADI. All right, so we can move maybe to the next question. Which Oracle version do you run today? If you know, of course.
Yeah, I'll give you guys another few seconds. This one's a shorter one. Okay.
All right, so we'll still have quite a few people in early versions of R12. We also have lots of customers in 11i, so yeah, it's very common to keep to remain on those versions of Oracle.
Great.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. That's all good feedback. Thanks a lot for that. So like many people in our audience today, lots of people are reaching out to us because WebADI is no longer working for them. The main reason we hear is typically a Windows or Microsoft upgrade that is breaking everything. So that's the biggest complaint we hear from people. And when this happens, it's obviously a pressing issue. So we've heard horror stories like a company based in Australia that couldn't create journals for almost 2 weeks right before month-end closing. And it was because the Windows upgrade had broken WebADI. We have another recent example from one of the largest shipping companies in the world. After a Microsoft upgrade, 300 of their users couldn't create journals anymore with WebADI, which was, of course, a huge issue because they create 6,000 lines every day. So as a temporary workaround, their IT team had to downgrade those users to a previous version of Microsoft. But obviously, they were not happy about this, as downgrading users is actually can be problematic and can create security breaches. So IT teams are typically very reluctant to go down that path, and they are looking for better solution. Another workaround we hear sometimes is that some organizations use virtual machines. So if you ever use the virtual machine, you know that it's slow, it's clunky. It's like trying to run a marathon in flip-flops. Nobody wants to do that. So it's really not an ideal solution for end users, but it's also not ideal for the IT teams that are implementing this and that need to support this. So it's actually quite hard to make sure that the VM remains frozen, because if it has automatic update, it can break everything. It can break all your WebADI templates because of these updates. So not the perfect solution either. And the problem is that if you raise those issues with Oracle support, they will likely tell you that you should really just upgrade your Oracle instance. And obviously, most organizations cannot go down that path. Then there is also the patching that represents a major risk that can ultimately make WebADI unviable, especially if you're an older version of Oracle. So we've seen a few people in the poll that answered that patching was causing issue for them. Again, it's also a real-world scenario we had for an existing customer. When resolving a system bug, you will often be instructed to install a patch. Also, you need to remember that most people customize their GL WebADI templates because it's missing columns. And then the problem is that many Oracle patch notes, like the one you're seeing on the screen, will clearly state that this patch will break all your custom WebADI templates. And the worst thing is that this disruption can be caused by a patch that has nothing to do with the functional area that you applied the patch for. So it can be really a big disruption for the team. So the bottom line is that for many organizations, WebADI is simply not a reliable tool anymore. So we've established that WebADI is a technical landmine. One patch, one Windows update, and your team is locked out. But let's be honest, even on its best days, when it's not crashing your PC, the tool is a constant source of frustration. The core problem is that the functionality is limited, it's confusing and difficult to operate. First, there is the rigid, cumbersome interface. WebADI feels like it's been designed by a committee in the 90s. It's forcing you to work its way, but not yours. So first, you don't have a single interface to work. If you want to load the journals across multiple ledgers, multiple periods, currencies, well, you will need to enjoy clicking that create document button multiple times, because it will always create siloed, separate templates. You can't do everything from one single template. On top of that, the layouts are set in stone. As you know, if you need to move a column, if you need to add a calculated field, you can't do that. So the templates are very unflexible and doesn't adapt to how your finance team actually works. And most organizations prefer not to customize those templates because, as we discussed, it dramatically increases your risk of breaking the template when Oracle patches are applied. Then there is the cryptic feedback. WebADI is quite famous for the vague and unhelpful error messages. As a former business analyst, I was called countless times to help users decrypt what WebADI was telling them. And then there are the missing functionalities. For instance, DFF that you typically rely on for your compliance and for like rich financial reporting. Those fields are missing from the WebADI template out of the box. And same with attachments, they are not provided. Many people need to attach documents to their journals. Finally, most WebADI versions do not provide a download functionality, which can be super useful when you need to download an existing journal to mimic this journal for the next month. Well, you can't do that with WebADI in most versions. So basically, the result of those functional shortcomings is a tool that constantly wastes your time. It's adding manual effort to your team. And yes, if you try to customize it, it's risky and it's also time consuming. So we've just spent some time talking about the pain points, the technical landmines, the constant frustration, and the feeling that your data entry tool is actively trying to make you late for month-end close. But let's pause for a moment. If you could build the perfect data loading solution, what would it look like? Would it be user-friendly and flexible, giving your finance team the power to change layout without calling IT for every minor tweak? Would it be efficient and easy for your teams to adopt? Would it provide reliable validation that makes errors easy to find and fix? And most importantly, would it offer long-term security, support, and compatibility with future versions of Windows, Excel, and Oracle? So now please ask yourself this question, is that what you're looking for? Is this your ideal world? If you said yes, you're not alone. This is exactly why we built More4apps GL Journal Wizard. So we looked at all those wish list items and we said challenge accepted. So our GL Journal Wizard is basically a flexible tool. It's a spreadsheet, so users are in full control. You have the power of Excel on top of the More4apps functionalities. You can move columns around, you can add, delete fields, you can use Excel formulas. Then you have a single interface. Instead of multiple GL journal templates, you have everything on one single spreadsheet. So you get the familiarity of Excel and never have to leave it. We've added all the functionality that are missing on WebADI, so you get really a complete functionality that are on the Oracle front end. DFF, attachments, all of this is provided here. We have added extra validation on top of the Oracle validation to replace their clunky error messages with clear user-friendly feedback. So no more guesswork or partial validation. And finally, it's a reliable platform. Our tools are built to be update-proof. So they are fully supported and tested with every new Microsoft Oracle version. So your team never has to worry about a surprise crash again. So we know that sounds pretty great, but we are here today to show you, not only tell you. So now we are going to do a quick demo of General Ledger Wizard. And of course, after this demo, you can grab a free trial if you would like to try it out yourself. All right. So we'll just close that and open GL Wizard. So this is our General Ledger Wizard. So with this tool, you can create your journals, whether they are actuals, budget journals, encumbrances. You can also actually do budget amount with this tool. So as you can see, it's basically an Excel interface. So it has all the power of Excel. And on top of this, you have the More4apps functionalities. So all our products consist of two components. The first part is the ribbon on top. From here, you can connect to your Oracle instance, and you can then interact with your Oracle instance. You can get data in and out of Oracle easily from within Excel. The second part of the product is the template. So all our templates have the same look and feel. You have light gray columns here that provide feedback at the end of the upload. And then the clear columns are the data elements. So you can basically customize this layout for your needs. It's totally flexible, unlike WebADI. You can basically delete columns that you don't need in the template. You can move columns around. So if you need a different order of columns, you can easily move columns around, delete columns that you don't need. So it really provides the flexibility that you don't have with WebADI. Then everything is on a single interface. Unlike WebADI, you can do everything from this single template. So you have the ability to create journals across multiple ledgers, multiple currencies, multiple categories. You can create your multiple journals from one single place, which will save you a lot of time. And we've added all the functionalities which are missing in WebADI. So you get the attachment section, you get descriptive flexfields. Out of the box, they are there in the template for you to use. All right. So then how would you build your data set using More4apps? Well, pretty much the same as WebADI in the end. It's basically like you can copy paste, you can use Excel functionalities. With WebADI, it typically crashes when you try to use Excel formulas. At least that's my experience of WebADI. So like here, you won't have this problem because it's Excel. So WebADI is not really Excel, so it crashes a lot when you try to insert a row or do things like this. With our product, it's basically, it will support all Excel functionalities on top of the More4apps functionalities. So you can, totally use an Excel formula for your dates or anything like this. You can use all Excel functionalities like this. And then we have many customers that are using the download functionality in order to extract an existing journal and use that as a template to create a new journal. So to do that, you can just copy paste a journal name or a batch name from the previous month. And then you can use one of our download functionality to extract this existing journal. So you have the ability to download via a form and also using sheet data. So this here consists of entering your download filter directly on the template. You highlight your filter and it will extract from Oracle. Then you can just change this data to the current month. Again, using Excel functionalities to make things easier. And then if I miss anything, if I'm not replacing the date, for instance, here, you will see that, it will complain during the upload. So there is no way for me to make any mistake here because it will provide some More4apps validation upfront. Then to complete your data set, we also provide data forms, which are available from the main ribbon here, or by just double clicking on any cell like this. So you can bring up the data forms for this specific section. So here it shows that you can use the attachments, you can upload a file, so you can browse on your PC to select a specific file. Here I'm loading an attachment type of web page. And when I close the form, it validates this record. So it's also a good security to have this More4apps validation on top of the Oracle validation. All right, so when my data set is ready, I have two options at this point. I can validate only. This doesn't process anything to Oracle. This is just to validate within Excel. Or I can choose validate and upload. In that case, it will start with validation within Excel, and then it will upload valid records to Oracle. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to upload all rows on this template. So before validation, there is also a cool feature that happens here. So we have a default values row here. So anything I put on row 10 will default on the blank rows below. So this is also a great way to accelerate your data entry compared to WebADI. You can then put your currency as a default value. If you have the same currency on most journals, it will save you some time. You can put your category, your period. Anything like this can be defaulted. And then at the end, we get feedback on the dedicated columns, as I mentioned at first. So those are still pending. We will talk about this a bit later. This one here is erroring out, but we have a clear error message. And like WebADI, it's telling us that it's not balanced. So we can just check the lines. And indeed, the credit is not matching the debit. So I can just change this to make it balanced. And here I get an error regarding the effective date. And we actually highlight incorrect values in red. So you can easily spot your mistake in the data set. And you can change this to today. So I can just copy paste or use a formula to derive this field and to fix my mistake. And then I can just reprocess those two records. So I can highlight those two records. And this time I will do upload selected. So it will process only the records that have been highlighted. Then you can see that after the upload, they are still showing pending. This is basically the same process as WebADI at this point. So we first upload the data to staging tables, to interface tables. And then we need to run the standard Oracle program that will move those records from the interface table to the Oracle front end. Actually, I have the submit import selected here as automatic. So it has run this import automatically. When they were pending, it actually submitted this import automatically. So I don't need to do that, but I can monitor the program to see where things are. So it's the same view you have in Oracle when you check your concurrent requests. They are already completed, so I can refresh the interface status to get the final feedback. It's asking me if I want to see the batch name and journal name that has been created by Oracle, because it actually creates a specific name when you create your journals. So you don't have this capability with WebADI either. And then at the end, those journals exist in Oracle, so it's asking us if we want to load attachments on them now. So I will say yes. And now I get the final feedback. So I know that those have been successfully created in Oracle. Green is good. It means that they now exist in Oracle. And the attachments as well. So in a nutshell, compared to WebADI, you can work from a single interface to do all kinds of journals on all types of categories, sources, periods, currencies. Everything can be done from one single interface. Then you have the flexibility. You can tailor this template for your needs. So you have a lot more columns included than WebADI. You have all the equivalent of your Oracle front end in More4apps. But then you can customize this layout to keep only columns you need and to have the best template for your current process. We have extra validation. On top of the Oracle validation, we have added an extra layer with a More4apps validation, so you get clear error, user-friendly error messages. And that's about it for this demo. It was a quick demo, and you can see that it's pretty easy to use like WebADI, but it's basically WebADI on steroids.
Thanks, Lily. Yeah, so now it's time for our Q&A portion. So we will just do the Q&A for probably like the next like 10-ish minutes, just depending on how many questions we have. And we do have a few questions already, actually. So I will relay these to you, Lily. So if you initially ask a question or if you have any further clarifying questions, feel free to like raise your hand and we can unmute you. Sometimes it's just easier to talk that out, but I also understand if you don't want to talk it out. So feel free to just write it in the chat or in the Q&A box down below. But yeah, we have a few of them. So here is one for you. If we upgrade to 64-bit, can we still use WebADI? Do you have any info on that?
All right, yeah, that's an interesting one. So in theory, Oracle says that 64-bit Excel versions are supported, but we have heard a few organizations where that didn't work for them. They had connection issues after switching their PCs to 64-bit Excel. So the thing to remember is that WebADI, older the WebADI at least, were built for 32-bit Excel. So you typically need to apply a specific Oracle patch if you want to use WebADI on a 64-bit Excel version. And I cannot tell you for sure if those types of issues can always be resolved, because the only stories we have heard are from organizations that ended up choosing More4apps in the end because they didn't want any future disruption, and they chose to GL Wizard instead.
Yeah. Great. Is this compatible with Oracle Fusion?
So the tool you've seen on the demo is not compatible with Oracle Fusion, but we have a very similar tool for Oracle Fusion. So Fusion is a different architecture, so we've built a separate tool for Oracle Fusion, which has the exact same look and feel for end users.
Yeah. Well, actually, we'll be covering that in our next session with Splash BI and their GL tools. So we will be showing a little bit of that. So feel free to join that one if you'd like. Cool. And then I think, yeah, how steep is the learning curve for someone who is already proficient with Excel and Web ADI? I'm assuming steep learning curve to learn how to use More4apps.
Right. Well, not very steep, since if you're proficient with Excel and WebADI, you will likely find the interface very similar as WebADI, and it will make the transition very smooth, I think. It typically takes 1 hour training for people to really be confident with using More4apps.
Great. Is it possible to use the same Excel template for multiple different ledgers?
Yes, it's totally possible. If your user has access to multiple ledgers with their responsibility, you will have the exact same data access in More4apps GL Wizard. And from a single interface, you will be able to create journals across multiple ledgers. So in the More4apps template, in the end, the ledger is just one column. So you can list multiple ledgers and create journals across multiple ledgers in one upload.
Great. Well, yeah, I don't have any more questions. Like I said, we will be talking about the GL integrator for Fusion in the next session. That's in a half hour. So if you are interested in that, feel free to join that as well. But before Lily makes her final remarks, I want to thank everyone for joining us for the session. And like I said, join the next two. And if you have any other questions for Lily, her info is right here at the bottom of the screen. And I'll also send that out as well. Lily's a great resource. Definitely use her. But also please keep an eye out for their session recording, which should be sent out by the end of the week. But yeah, Lily, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining this webinar. It's always a pleasure for me to have this kind of session with you. So if you have any question also, feel free to email me, as Stephanie mentioned. I'm always pleased to answer any questions about our products or show you a demo specific to your needs.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody, and thank you very much, Lily. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you, Stephanie. Bye-bye.